In every neighborhood with a homeowners association, there is always that one person who thinks the rules just apply to others. They believe the rules were written by them and for them. In my community, that person is our HOA president, a woman we all know as Karen. She walks around like she owns the streets, barking orders, handing out violation slips, and acting like she's the mayor of a small country. But what she tried to pull at the local post office was so outrageous that even the United States Postal Service had to step in. It started on a Monday morning when I went to the post office to drop off some packages. The lobby was buzzing with quiet activity, people shuffling papers, mailing letters, and waiting for their turn. But in the corner of the room, near the service counter, was Karen, and she wasn't quiet. Her voice carried across the entire building as she lectured the clerk behind the counter. Karen was demanding that all mail addressed to our HOA, whether it was bills, newsletters, complaints, or even personal correspondence between residents, be rerouted into her private post office box. She stood there with her clipboard, tapping her pen like a judge, insisting that as HOA president, she had the right to manage all neighborhood communications. The clerk, a young man trying his best to remain polite, told her gently that this wasn't possible. The mail system didn't work that way. Mail could only be delivered to the address it was addressed to, or to the individual listed on the box rental. Karen wasn't having it. She raised her voice, saying she had authority over the entire HOA, and therefore should have access to every envelope, every package, and every letter connected to the neighborhood. At this point, people in the lobby started whispering, watching the spectacle. I knew Karen was power-hungry, but even for her, this was over the top. She wasn't asking for a little convenience. She was trying to seize control of the mail, federal property, as if it were part of her HOA kingdom. The clerk tried again to explain that mail privacy was protected by law, but Karen cut him off, waving her hand. "I don't think you understand. I'm the HOA president. That means I represent all residents. Their mail is my responsibility." The moment she said that, a door at the back of the post office opened. Out came the postmaster himself, a man who had probably dealt with every difficult customer in town but looked particularly irritated this morning. He walked straight to the counter, asked the clerk what was happening, and then fixed his eyes on Karen. "What exactly are you asking for?" he said firmly. Karen puffed up like a peacock. "I am the HOA president, and I demand that all mail related to our neighborhood, all of it, be placed in my personal box. I need control of it for organizational purposes." The postmaster stared at her in disbelief. "Ma'am, what you are asking for is illegal. Federal law prohibits anyone from intercepting or rerouting another person's mail without authorization. You are essentially asking us to break the law." Karen crossed her arms. "Don't be dramatic. I'm not asking you to break the law. I'm asking you to respect my position. I have authority." The postmaster snapped. He leaned over the counter and said loudly enough for the entire lobby to hear, "Your HOA authority means nothing here. This is the United States Postal Service. You don't get to decide who receives mail. You don't get to touch mail that isn't yours. What you're asking for could put you in prison." The lobby went silent, except for Karen gasping like someone had slapped her. She tried to backpedal, saying she was only trying to help the community, but the postmaster wasn't finished. He pointed to the federal warning signs plastered all over the wall about tampering with mail. "Do you see those signs? Tampering with mail is a felony. That means fines and jail time. If you keep demanding this, I'll have no choice but to involve the authorities right now." Karen's face went red, then pale, then red again. She sputtered about her rights, her position, and the HOA bylaws. But the postmaster had heard enough. He motioned to the clerk to step aside, then picked up the phone behind the counter. In front of everyone, he called the local police department and reported an incident of a customer demanding illegal access to other people's mail. The room buzzed with whispers as Karen realized what was happening. She tried to leave, but the postmaster calmly told her to stay put until officers arrived. "You made this a legal matter," he said. "Now it's out of my hands." Within minutes, 2 officers walked in. The postmaster explained the situation, and the officers asked Karen to confirm what she had been requesting. True to form, she doubled down, insisting she had the right to collect HOA mail because she was the president. The officers gave each other a look, the kind of look that says, "Here we go again." One officer asked, "Ma'am, do you understand that mail belongs to the addressee, not to you, not to the HOA, not to anyone else? Do you understand that demanding control of other people's mail is a federal offense?" Karen stammered. But I'm the president. They need me to manage these things." "No," the officer said firmly. "They don't. And if you interfere with mail delivery again, we will charge you. Do you understand?" By now, half the lobby was watching openly. Some people were smirking, others recording discreetly on their phones. Karen, realizing she was cornered, muttered something about miscommunication and just trying to help. The officers told her to leave immediately and warned her that if she ever tried to tamper with mail again, she'd be facing federal charges. She stormed out of the post office, red-faced and humiliated, with the entire town watching her retreat. For once, Karen wasn't in control. After she left, the postmaster turned to the room and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. Your mail is your private property. If anyone ever tries to take it, report them immediately." The room erupted in chuckles and nods. People were already talking about how HOA Karen had finally been put in her place. Word spread fast in the neighborhood. By that evening, everyone knew about the scene at the post office. Neighbors shared videos, laughed about it, and finally felt some relief that Karen's power was checked by someone she couldn't intimidate. She tried to spin the story later, claiming it was all a misunderstanding, but no one believed her. The HOA board, embarrassed by the attention, quietly asked her to step back from her extra duties. She remained president for a short while, but her reputation was ruined. No one took her seriously anymore. The once feared Karen became the neighborhood joke, remembered not for her authority, but for the day the postmaster snapped and called the authorities on her. As for me, I'll never forget standing in that post office, watching federal law crush HOA entitlement. It was one of the rare times you see real justice served instantly. Karen thought her clipboard and her title gave her power over everything, even the mail. But she learned the hard way. In the real world, not even a Karen can mess with the United States Postal Service.